WCW Backstage Assault is the last game in the WCW series, released in December of 2000, just 4 months before WCW was purchased by Vince McMahon. As we all know by now, WCW had some pretty bad game releases on the PlayStation, but seemed to be on the right track after teaming with Electronic Arts. Well, that ended quickly. EA decided that a wrestling game didn't need good graphics, working controls, or even a wrestling ring. But what should we have expected from WCW at the time? I mean, did you actually see how bad the product got? Anyway, let's dive into this steaming bowel movement they call Backstage Assault. The intro shows a lot of clips of wrestlers fighting backstage or outside, and I get it, ECW was huge and WWF made a lot of money doing hardcore stuff, so WCW wanted to follow. It makes sense, but a game where you could only wrestle backstage? That's taking it just a step too far. Yeah, being able to run into the locker room in mayhem was cool and all, but that doesn't mean it should be the entire game. Let's check out the match options. You have singles match, and that's it. There's no 2-on-2, no triple threat, no 4-way, nothing like that, just 1-on-1. The amount of wrestlers in the game is good, but over half of them are locked from the start of the game, and there is no cheat codes to unlock them. You have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is like torture in a game this bad. I mean, I played the hell out of this game unlocking people, and I still didn't get everybody. Yeah, I want to play as Bret Hart, but I don't want to have to compete in the hardcore gauntlet a million times just to do so. It's really just not worth it. Then there's the quality of the wrestlers in the game. WCW was pretty much dead already at the time, and the roster reflects that. Some of my faves are here, like Nash, Hall, Booker, and DDP, but most of the roster consists of people like Captain Cajun, David Flair, 3 Count, the Harris Brothers, AWOL. I mean, I can go on. And why the hell is Doug Dillinger in yet another WCW game? I mean, what kind of high demand could he possibly be in that they put him in so many damn games? This is at least the 3rd game I've seen him in. I mean, this guy wasn't even a wrestler. Ever. There's no entrances in the game, most likely because there's no ring or arena to enter. It would look quite odd to see the wrestlers making a full-blown entrance complete with taunts and music into the bathroom. So, instead they show the wrestlers Titantrons, Turnertrons, which is alright, but looking back now it's just kinda depressing as you watch a bunch of clips of has-been or never-was-been wrestlers killing a company. This is pretty much the exact same game engine that Mayhem used, but here it feels a lot worse. Don't know why, I can't explain it, it just feels really buggy. Square is your grapple button, and triangle, circle, and X are attack buttons. The problem is, square is a multi-use button, so not only does it grapple, but it climbs onto things, picks up your opponent off the ground, and also picks up weapons. And I'm sure you know what this recipe gets us. A pretty big mess. Sometimes you want a weapon, but it picks up your opponent or climbs up onto something, and it's just really frustrating. Every single match has weapons in it, and while there is definitely a good variety, they all seem to do the same thing and don't feel very different at all. I can't even describe to you how buggy the whole weapon system is. You'd think a game that was all about hardcore fighting would have a kick-ass weapon system, but you couldn't be more wrong. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass to pick up a weapon as your opponent gets up way too quickly, and sometimes even after finishers. And speaking of finishers, they come way too easily. I can start a match and hit my opponent just a few times, and within a few seconds I'm performing a finisher.
That's because they can't spell.
Jackknife powerbomb.
They also don't seem to do more damage than any other move in the game. I've had matches where I've dropped finisher after finisher, followed by a few more, and still couldn't get a 3 count. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've even won a single match via pinfall. I just end up going for the knockout, as it just seems pointless trying to pin your opponent.
It's gonna cause tempers to flare.
What an amazing display of athleticism! Is this the end of the match?
How could EA take such a step backwards in graphics? Mayhem looked pretty impressive. Backstage Assault looks horrible. I'm not picking on this game, I'm serious, it just looks bad. Look at the wrestlers. I laughed at the first time I saw screenshots of this game. It just looks stupid. The backgrounds don't look good, the weapons look like crap. The loading screens look like somebody with a camera just ran into the locker room and snapped a quick pic of a wrestler and photoshopped it into a collage. It just all looks like a mess of pixels, and it doesn't help that nothing runs smoothly. The sound is absolutely, without a doubt, the best part of the game. The music is so-so, and the sound effects could be better, but the announcing has only improved over Mayhem, where it was already pretty damn good. There is a create-a-wrestler mode in the game, and while it is improved over Mayhem with more options, it still doesn't make me want to create a wrestler, especially with the graphics looking the way they do. I've got enough ugly wrestlers to choose from as it is. The game doesn't feature a story or career mode. Instead, there's a challenge mode in which you compete for a title against a series of wrestlers. This is the main way of unlocking wrestlers and backstage areas for the game, but like I mentioned before, it's not really worth it. I really don't like this game. The only fun I had with it was trying to unlock a few wrestlers, but once I did so, I lost absolutely every last bit of interest in it. I've owned every WCW game since WCW vs. the World from their very release date, except for Backstage Assault. I never even had the urge to rent this game. I was done with WCW by the time, and I knew the game was going to be garbage when it was announced. Well, turns out a lot of people felt the same way. The game received poor ratings and only sold around 200,000 copies, which is almost nothing compared to WCW NWO Revenge, which was released just 2 years earlier and ended up selling almost 1.9 million copies.
He's broken the bat!
These two guys will not disappoint us.
There are a lot of reasons WCW didn't end up making it. Is Backstage Assault one of those reasons? I don't know, but it certainly didn't help.